Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about taking yourself on a date. Now wait, all work and no play makes your creativity go away. All right. I know I said take your artist on a date. And that terminology, the artist date, comes from this book, The Artist's Way, which I will be talking a little bit about. But first I want to talk about the idea of considering yourself an artist, because it took me a long time, and most days, I will admit, I still don't really consider myself an artist. Do I create stories from nothing? Well, yeah, just my crazy ideas. But it doesn't seem like art to me. So maybe every artist feels that way. I can't speak for anyone except for myself. But what I know is that even the idea of an artist date, when I discovered The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron more than 2 decades ago, seemed like, yeah, okay, whatever. So first, before we talk about taking your inner child on a date, see there, Sharon, you don't have to call it your artist date. You can call it your play date with your inner child. So just a couple brief things about The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This is actually a 12-week recovery program. So yes, if you're like me and you're like, 12-step recovery, what am I, an alcoholic? No, you're a creative person who needs to often recover a sense of creativity, because there's a lot of things that stifle creativity. And Cameron takes a different week and talks about all of these things, from your inner critic to all the false assumptions you have about writing not being valuable, to everything. Okay, so I don't want to give that away. I do recommend this book. Like I said, I completed it the first time more than 2 decades ago. And in November of 2021, I went through it again, started through it again. It takes 12 weeks. So for 12 weeks, starting in November, I went through it again and found some different things, other things that I had forgotten. Why do I say I forgot them? Because they were highlighted. So I know that they stuck out to me before, but a couple decades, you let it go. So there's 2 things that Julia Cameron swears are required to recover your creativity. One of them is morning pages, and I might talk about that another time because that is a practice I consider. And the other is the artist date, AKA the play date with your inner child. So playing on the page. When you're writing fiction stories especially, it feels a lot like playing with your imaginary friends, or it does to me. Maybe it's different for you, and I would love to hear about that, so I hope you'll comment about it if you think it's something different. But the premise of this play date with your inner child, the artist date as she refers to it, is to find something that your inner child wants to do and take them and no one else to go do that. And I'll be honest, both times that I worked through this recovery program, I was not faithful to have 12 artist dates, one for every week, which is the recommendation. It just was so hard because it just felt silly and pointless. What I will say is the times when I did take my inner child out for a play date, my creativity spiked, and I definitely felt a resurgence of that excitement about my project, my story, my characters, whatever it was I was writing at that time. So it does work. So if you can push yourself past the resistance to it, you will find that your inner child does want to go on a date, and it will reward you. She will reward you very well should you take them on a date. So what sort of things might you do on this? Well, for me, coloring. And isn't it nice that adult coloring books are a thing now? And they have fancy gel pens or colored pencils or watercolor pencils even to color with, so you don't have to break out that box of 64 crayons and your Disney coloring book to color. You can do it adult style. And still, your inner child says, yay, and has a good time. The woods were a really magical place for me when I was a kid. When we grew up on a farm, we had some woods next to it. And so taking a walk in the woods is something that my inner child loves to do, and they will play and frolic within that time, imagining talking trees and talking animals, and that mist is magical and all sorts of things, because that's what happened for me when I was a child. So it can be just going for a walk. I took a walk on the beach this past November when I was doing it. 1 week when I managed to do my artist date, I would say 1/3 of the time. I went 4 times, 4 dates in 12 weeks. So you do the math on that. So 1 week it was a walk on the beach, and I was looking at shells and my footprints and walking as far as I could into the surf and then running out of the way of it so it didn't get me wet, because hello, it was November, the Pacific Ocean, Oregon. I didn't want it touching me, of course. I don't really want it touching me most of the time. Not really a big swim in the ocean fan. So your child will be the boss for this. But if you're having trouble with it, think about things you loved doing as a child, things that you like to play. I would really love it if I could find someone to do double Dutch jump rope. It's something our mom taught us, and we used to do that all the time. My sister, my mom, and I, we would do that, taking turns, turning the ropes or being the one that jumps. And I really had fun with that. Just single jump rope, not the same level of play for me. So I'm serious here. If you're feeling a lag in your creativity, if your story just seems kind of blah, can't figure out what to write at the page, your inner child is telling you it's time for me to play. So take them somewhere to do something fun, and they will reward you with a spike in your creativity. So I have dropped the link to Cameron's book down below in the comments. It is, yes, an affiliate link for me through Amazon. So if you do use it, thank you. I will make a couple pennies. And as always, the usual links to my blog, my newsletter, where you get 3 free writing checklists, which I promise will help you out, whether you're in the creative stage, the revision stage, or you're wondering, am I ready to publish stage? So check those out. Join up the Write Your Book Nook group, because we would love to help you write your book. You know why? Because your story matters.